It's our creator. He's getting ready. He's taking him too. He's going to start out and have a powwow. He's getting on his outfit. He takes when you see the flash the lightning.
Sandra.
Donald, I thought it'd be really useful if we talk with the video camera running, because sometimes when we speak about our work, that it becomes so much clearer than trying to write it down. And I really find that the way that you speak about your work helps me to gain access to it in a really important way. And one of the questions that I had was, when you speak about the rupture that was created by the Oka Conestoga crisis, what do you mean by this notion of rupture?
Well, when I define rupture, I take it from a point of dealing with narratives, a linear narrative structure of time and space, and how that is defined through literary forms, through Eurocentric value, through the performance of society is spectacle, and when the duality, the crossover from literary forms to documented events, to reality, to newsworthy events, to dramatization, to melodramas, they all propel a particular direction, a particular linear sort of path through history, or mankind, if you are. His history, when you say his story, it's a patriarchal sort of reality. Rupture, rupture coming from from my university education, how filmmakers used ruptures to redefine the narrative, to create a break in suturing the audience into a particular frame of mind. Sally Potter, a filmmaker, a feminist filmmaker, she had a lot of work that dealt with ruptures. So on the macrocosm scale, in relation to what I'm talking about, Oka was a rupture, the Guinness Ataki, because it's a rupture that just stopped the sort of progression, or the normalization of Canadian culture, right? The normalization where all of a sudden Oka, July 11th, it all started back actually when I was working in the news at the time, with the Akwesasne problems in Cornwall, and the smuggling, the cigarette smuggling, and the warrior society. So that is sort of a newsworthy sort of connection for the news people back then. And then at the time, the Meech Lake Accord failed. Then the Charlottetown Accord was brought in. As a result of this rupture, certain the direction of Canadian identity was put on hold, right? When you look at the founding fathers of Canada's Confederation, so this linear pathway has been going on for over 100 years, right? From 1867, 1967, so on. So there are certain ruptures, when you deal with defining the Canadian nation state. You'll see them throughout history. It's like when you look at the revolution in 1858 in Europe, where that created a shift in the paradigm thinking of artists and critical thinkers of that time. This Oka thing was a rupture that changed how Native Canadians see Native people. Yes, the militancy is there. The agitprop sort of guerrilla theater was there. when you deal with the theatrics of society, it allowed Native people to stand outside of their localized state and connect to a national sense of a crossover, right? Instead of being a localized Indian that he had to deal with his own economic, social, political problems and dealing with his own sort of denial and understanding his voice, she had something to identify with across the country, wherever it was. If it was in Mount Curry, if it was down with the Adams Band or with whatever band during that time, that rupture, Oka's rupture, connected this broken circle in Canadian society for Native people. After Oka, and I was just looking at an article I wrote for a news magazine that got cut to threads, just shredded up as far as when you're doing editing and what defined what categorizes the Native voice as being worthy of news or worthy of ideology or worthy of political status. When Wires Cross examines that rupture, right, from the macrocosm to the microcosm, from all of a sudden, we're dealing with the normality of society and living and life as it is, Native people trying to find their determination in Canadian culture, working and all that stuff, the politics of the everyday keeps us, and then Oka happens, Willie Franchito, Lisa Bell, find themselves at loss at where where they stand.
Is it because of the criminalization of the Oka warriors that they find themselves at a loss?
It's the imbalance of justice when you deal with the criminalization. There were acquittals, but at the same time, the judicial process of what happened after Oka and with Ellen Gabriel and Joe David and all those people it may have resolved that localized state in the sense of what happened in Oka and Quebec as far as being reprimanded and dealing with the judicial system, but it didn't solve anything as far as that chain link that was created from 1990 on, right? We're still dealing with a judicial system that is not favorable to Indians, right? Why do my research across Canada, why do I meet Native people willing to go fight with
From Nova Scotia, and I'm going out to Alberta. I'm going out to see Milton Manitou, the guy that went to the dam there.
The pagan band.
Yeah, and I'm going to help him in whatever way I can to stop what he wants stopped.
To really define our sovereignty, do we define genocide like in Rwanda, where sovereignty is a real touchy issue as far as when you deal with clashes of culture. Canada is not immune to this chaos, or this dissertation of discontent. We're just it's like, how long is this safety net going to stay under us? Now the rupture at Oka pulled it away. It's just like the FLQ crisis with the War Measures Act in the 70s, but perhaps we're a bit more liberal now, and we didn't have to go to that extremes. But what is extreme? When you have 5,000 Army personnel standing up against 72 to 73 personnel. We're very fortunate that only Richard LeMays was killed, and it's unfortunate that he was. Who's to blame? Who's to blame? It's I don't know. When you deal with a capitalist society and the powers that be that need to define the status quo and maintain it, right? And so that rupture gave Native people an incentive to do something with their lives and speak up and use their voice for once in their lives, without having a non-Native person decipher that information. But it didn't go anywhere, right? You read in the papers today with the Ojibwe reserves up in Ontario and the degradation that happens there just because of the social diseases that have not gone away, the social, political, economic skeleton that they want to put around us.
Can I understand that you were taken away from your mother when you were a child, and that you grew up in foster homes. And do you regard this process that occurred to you as a part of the genociding of the First Nations people?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because many of my associates have survived, and many of ours have not made it. And when you look at the deliberate attempt of governments to eradicate problem areas, problem demographics, right? When you try to deal with the politics, the demographics. How do you balance a changing the demographics of a country that is being affected by immigration, affected by the Geo-American political reality? They want to have equality, but on Eurocentric terms, right?
Do you feel the Oka resolution is resolved? What happened in Oka two and a half years ago?
I don't think anything's resolved these days, really.
Yeah, and do you feel Native people are going to get their sovereignty?
I think everybody's going to get a kick in the ass.
What's your name?
Christine.
Okay, thank you.
The last battle on Earth you're gonna have on the Hombre is it's gonna be within yourself. Politically, we know the conspiracies. We know the cover-ups, right? We know. The question is, do they know? I'll tell you the honest to God truth, is I think natives are destroying themselves because they're so united with the Mother Earth. They're united with this, and
the grassroots level.
Well, apparently not, because of alcoholism, fucking drug abuse, and but they don't look at the people that aren't alcoholic. They look at us.
But because North America is sort of
So automatically they just say, are you Native?
yes, sir.
So automatically they look at you and they look at a drunk. It's worth it, man. It was Soul of Arms never did nothing before, and never will again, will it?
Hombre.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there's a big religious gig going on. There's a battle. Demonic forces. Okay, and you got religious forces.
That's another thing too, eh?
Now, who's winning the war?
It's another thing too,
Okay.
Okay, being
I'll
a
tell
native person.
Now, if you shut up for a minute, I keep on.
Being a native person,
rapping.
growing up in a white society, eh? I didn't grow up with white people, and I grew up and know them as friends, eh? But after I got older, I found out they weren't friends, eh?
What it means is you gotta bow down
No, the thing is,
to
you
the
can never
camera.
get somebody out there reserved to talk to the camera, eh?
Okay?
They get all the theory, just be human beings and see plant fruit and vegetables and share all food. Go down to them unfortunate and just give things, give instead of buying and selling. We don't need a global flea market right now. I think we have there's enough of that already. before. They killed them today and they killed them tomorrow. So we're going to stop that. I don't know more.
Where's my bushman? Where's my bushman? We better grab something down for there's nothing there.
Done is done.
No, it isn't done. Not until the apartheid is broken.